So we are here with new Syngress author Deviant Ollam, and we are going to be asking him a few choice questions about lockpicking and his experience with book writing. So, first question.
Yeah.
How does one get into lockpicking?
One gets into lockpicking by being fascinated by it.
Okay.
And it's fortunately something that's easy to do, is get someone interested right away. When they see picking done, not on TV, not in a movie, but just right in front of them, they're like, oh my god, like this is real? You can actually just do this? You're like, yeah, well, not only can I do it, you can do this. Come sit down, let me show you.
Right.
So just anytime you pop someone's eye and drop their jaw, it's not hard to rope them in at that point.
Right. So now how do you make sure that the people that you teach use their powers for good?
It's pretty easy to tell right away whether someone's a shady character or not. Mm-hmm. And it's not just by appearance. I mean, you come around to a lot of the hacker cons, plenty of normal citizens out there are scared by anybody whose hair is blue or green.
That's true.
But just a few minutes of conversation with someone, right away you can tell if their passion is for understanding the technology and really grasping the knowledge, or are they just looking for a shortcut end run around some kind of security.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about Tool?
Sure. Tool, the Open Organization of Lockpickers, is an international body. It is a non-profit organization just dedicated to educating people about locks and lockpicking. By increasing the understanding of locks, not only do you make someone a better consumer in the marketplace by demystifying this piece of technology, but you really can, you just participate in wonderful problem solving and puzzle solving sort of games. We host a lot of sport picking enterprises, a lot of competitions and contests. We just want people to have fun with this because it's a wonderful hobby.
It is. I know that everybody that comes to these conferences is always excited about the lockpicking villages. Now, do you do pen tests for your day job?
I do.
Okay.
I've turned this passion into a larger piece of my consulting pie, as it were. For the longest time, I was just a network securities guy. Okay. I was a net admin, a firewall admin, etc., and I could do some penetration that way. But when I picked up the physical aspect, I said, man, this is really underrepresented in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Now, another tool director and I, Babak Javadi, we have our own company, the Core Group. Okay. And that's, sometimes we'll do our trainings under that banner, we'll do assessments and audit under that banner, some forensic work. Mm-hmm. And it's a nice way to do this for, a little bit of coin in the jeans. It's nice to eat, too.
And so people just contract you for jobs and you go in and do the whole thing, physical and...
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so here's a funny one.
Okay.
What's the worst lock-related security faux pas you have seen committed in front of people in the general public?
There's a few choice
All
ones.
Right.
I'm sure that one of the worst ones would have been seeing a company's wiring closet that was locked up with a master dial combination, like gym locker lock. And the funny thing was, they literally said, we did this because the guy who had the key, they used to have a padlock, and they said there was one guy with the only key, and when he would go to lunch or when he was on vacation, we didn't ever have the key around. So we wanted something that was a combination, so we could, everyone would know the combination if we wanted it, and if we lost it, we could always call him. And the reason I was brought in on this job, I was trying to fix, this is back when I did more wiring work and network routing work. I said, where's your phone closet? All right, here it is. Well, how do I get in? And they said, well, we usually keep the key right here, but now we have this lock, so let's call the guy, and he didn't answer. And I was like, oh, Lord, are you really going to make me do this? I said, look, do you mind if I just open this? And they said, what do you mean? I was like, well, this is horrible. I don't know why you're using this lock. And I just, grabbed a soda out of their break room and cut up a can and jammed the can in and opened. And I was like, yeah, so you switched from a sort of secure lock to a lock that anyone could shim open with a combination you can't change, with a combination that's easily decodable, and, protecting wires that were an awful mess to be. Maybe that was really, they were just trying to not let anyone see their horrible, horrible wiring job.
Wow, that's pretty good. I'm sure that that's very common in a lot of places.
Yeah.
They neglect physical security.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now to help with that...
Running low on battery.
Okay, to help with that, you've written a book.
Yes, I have.
Practical Lockpicking. It's coming out summer 2010. Mm-hmm. So this is you've kind of answered this, but why did you decide to write it? And what do you want to accomplish with it?
I wanted to kind of serve a need that I saw in the marketplace for a professional reference that's not geared to police and forensic researchers entirely. Sort of all the books about picking on the market, and there were some very nice ones, fall into one of two categories. You have the complete novice, I'm interested in picking hobbyist book, usually 100 pages max, not many illustrations, covering just kind of what you could learn on YouTube. And then the flip side of that coin is you have these massive, literally police references. Lock, safe, and security, high security mechanical locks, that cover every lock ever created. And that's because someone's job is to analyze and look into every possible lock that comes across their desk for inspection. There's nothing really geared to someone who wants to learn to be a better penetration tester, or a company that wants to audit their own facilities with an internal team.
No, I mean, I think it's a great idea, and you're right that audience was not given something that they could use. Okay, so there is a video where you explain to a crowd at one of the cons the nuances of securely packing a firearm for airline travel.
Yeah.
There's another one where you're shooting a long-range assault rifle. So when you're not flying from conference to conference or teaching, what do you do in your spare time for fun, other than those other things?
I put small round holes in things at a long distance sometimes. That's definitely one thing I do for fun. Beyond that, a lot of music, a lot of passion for singing and other instruments, a lot of time spent out in the forest as far away as I can from a city. I'm not really a city guy.
Okay.
All your basic hackerish hobbies that people don't think of when they think of the tech world. Most of us want to unplug for a while and get the heck outdoors.
That makes sense. How do you stay ahead with all the lock-picking technology and the different locks that come out?
The best resource ever for that is all of our other friends in Tool. Because you'll constantly hear people like, oh man, I was eBaying for this crazy lock that I never even thought was produced anymore, and I found some guy in Russia selling it. And you'll hear, someone will be like, that was you outbidding me? I was trying to get that lock. So all the time, someone will show up at an event, especially the big ones, Black Hat, DEF CON, ShmooCon, and you say, oh, have you seen so-and-so? Come over and see Scorch. He picked up this new crazy missile silo lock from Uzbekistan. And we're like, oh, let's see it. And the other side of this, oh man, you got to come see what Mitch just acquired, the latest generation of whatever government lock. Yeah, I don't know how he got this one. He must have bribed a lieutenant on some army base, but look at how they changed the ceramic inserts in this thing. So all of our friends are just so passionate like us.
Right.
They got, oh, you got to see what I got. And photos go up online and someone brings a sample.
So it's a real community. That's cool. All right, and do you have any advice for future lockpickers of the world?
Practice, practice, practice. It's very easy to get discouraged at first, especially if you're kind of going in really blind. But avail yourselves of the resources, my book or plenty of others. Just do anything that gets you into it enough that you're like, oh, this is possible. And then continue. Just continue even if you're just picking the same lock every couple of days, you say, well, I've really learned to beat this one. It's just keeping the feeling in your hands. Try something new. If that discourages you, drop back a little bit. Learn how. I was very happy to include a blurb in the book about servicing your locks. Learn how to strip some pins out of a lock. You can get the newest, greatest, complicated, oh, here's a 7-pin Swedish Asa unpickable monster. Well, okay, that's going to frustrate you, but if you field strip it and drop a few of the pin stacks out, turn it into a 3-pin lock or a 4-pin lock, you might get it. Before you know it, you might get a 5th one, you might get a 6th one. Next day, you're showing your friends, hey, I stayed up all night, but I think I've got this with 7 pins. You got to try it.
No, I mean, and I would suggest too, if you can come to a con and go to one of your lockpicking villages and actually get your hands on a lock, then that's the best. Like you said, get the fever. All right, well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for letting me write for you.
All right, no problem.